Hello again, YouTube. It's 11:09 p.m. Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. Imagine that from the drive-up ATM that I'm forced to use because the vestibule is kept locked now after the bank is closed here at the Chase at 44th Street in Thomas, Arcadia Crossing. Because of that, I have to use the walk-up ATM, and there's no convenient walkway that gets you out of here. There's no walkway at all. I'm having to go in a space that is very much for cars, which is an uncomfortable thing as a pedestrian. At least I can trek through the gravel. They haven't completely put up that wall to have to climb over that to get to the sidewalk. But yeah, no sidewalk access to the drive-up ATM. Imagine that. So yeah, that was a little more difficult than anticipated, and some awkward encounters with cars. And yeah, man, people in cars are very, I'm afraid of getting hit by a car. They are absolutely afraid of getting mugged by the guy with the long hair and the camouflage jacket that is on foot. So it's such a great society of fear we have built these days. Anyway, tried to do the $2 deposit at the one ATM. It only accepted one of the dollars and accept the other. So yeah, that gave me, got my receipt for that. They gave me like $19.38. Still can't get a $20 bill out. Not good enough. So had to wait for the car that was at the other ATM to roll out. So of course I walk over by him and he's looking at me super nervous. And wait for the car that was at the other ATM to pull forward so I could use the other ATM to put another dollar in. Oh, and when I put in that dollar, it occurred to me that, hey, one of my Chase accounts has a savings account associated with it. I know they both don't, and if memory, and I never really fuck with that savings account. It's just sort of a small amount of cash I keep there. It's got some kind of overdraft protection. I just kind of try to keep it there, although at this point I might need it. Anyway, please stop before the line. Please stop before the line. Thank you. Anyway, I'm thinking, well, gosh, I don't, there's some money in there. Shit, I can, I'm at the ATM. I should be able to bounce the money that's in that savings over to my checking and just withdraw that, or do a withdrawal from savings. But I didn't see, I'm reasonably sure it's in my business account, but I didn't see anywhere when my business card was put in, any way for me to withdraw or access my savings at all, to even check the balance of it, let alone move the cash or withdraw the cash. So I definitely want to talk to a Chase banker about that. I'm a little confused by that. Reasonably sure that the savings account is tied to my business account, but I'm thinking, hey, maybe my personal. It's tied to my personal. So end up going to the other ATM. I do succeed in depositing the other dollar there. So I did a deposit of $1, walked to the next ATM once the car got out of the way, deposited another $1, and that got me over that magic $20 barrier where I could get money out. And then another vehicle pulled up, so I kind of walked away because people standing around by the drive-up ATMs makes drivers super nervous. Really? You need to turn on your brights, a-hole. Nobody should ever be using brights on city streets. Seriously. Oh, check it out. I'm in front of a titty bar. Yay, titties. So anyway, and they're open. A drink is cheaper than a shrink. You know what? You can't argue with deep thoughts like that. So anyway, yeah, the guy is in the other ATM, and I'm kind of wanting to go to the other ATM to do the $20 withdrawal, just because I'm worried it might raise some kind of a digital red flag if I deposit $1 and then immediately in the same machine or in the same transaction try to withdraw $20. Of course, I'm getting super nervous about that kind of red flag stopping me from getting the $20 out, and them thinking it looks like fraud, because it does look kind of weird. Somebody deposit $1 and then deposit another $1 and then suddenly withdraw 20. That just seems like odd activity. But hey, it's brokenomics. That's what it is. Fucking brokenomics. But so I'm like, well, I'm waiting for that ATM. as far as this robot here is concerned, when I put in another card, it's a completely different account. So I pop in my personal checking. It's got about $12 in it. So yay, there's $12 I didn't realize I still had. So that's a good thing. And if that is the account with the savings in it, again, going through the prompts with that card in, didn't see any access to even as much as look at a balance for a savings account, let alone transfer money out. Now, I did very recently close down my Wells Fargo savings account because they were no longer treating it as a savings account and were charging me a service charge on it. And it doesn't, at this point, savings accounts are absolutely fucking stupid because when I was a child and a young adult, hey, I found another penny. Nice. When you had a savings account, the idea was let your money sit there and it earn interest. But at this point, the amount of interest that it pays is such a small amount. It's just been getting smaller and smaller. At this point, it's just a minuscule, laughable amount. And it is nowhere near what that cash that's sitting there is getting devalued at by the week due to Brandon inflation. So, yeah. Once they slapped a $5 a month service fee on it, I'm just like, explain to me one reason why I should leave this account open. And the banker had to admit it made 0 sense for me to leave that account open. So, even if I did have, I guess if you got it, again, broke taxes, people who are poor have to pay more fees. It's asinine because people who are rich can afford to pay more fees, but people who are broke are the ones that get hit for the fees. God, something smells really good here, like that bakery. Oh, it's probably the fries. They're probably baking stuff for tomorrow at the fries, which is on the other side of the Schlotzsky's there. Anyway, so, yeah, fees. So I guess there's a certain amount. If I had a certain amount in that savings account, and I want to say it's something that's just an impossible dream for me at this point, like, $2,000 or something. $2,000. I'm trying to scrape together $2. They want me to be just sitting on $2,000. Fuck my life. Yeah, at that point, there wouldn't be a fee. But the reality is, if I did have $2,000 to be just sitting on, why would I have it sitting in an account that returns significantly less interest than what the devaluation of that currency is? Basically, you're not building interest, you're losing worth due to inflation. It makes 0 sense. Like that, if I was sitting on that $2,000, it would make way more sense to put that $2,000 either into stocks or to put it into crypto. And I said that to the person, as I was discussing, closing that account, that, even if I had that money to avoid that $5 fee, and the $5 is nominal, why would I have that sitting there losing money from inflation when I can put that somewhere where it's going to be growing? And he's like, you're right, man. And of course, that person couldn't close my account. It ended up being an ordeal. And I have another video about that. I don't know which one, but hey, maybe someday I'll get around to linking it to this one in the description. By the way, on my videos, always look at the description. At the very least, you'll see the date and time that it was recorded, and sometimes I have some additional information correcting some things where I might misspeak, because sometimes I misspeak. I mean, for God's sake, I said can of bags in reference to a bag of cans yesterday. So, yeah. I even said it was PM when it was clearly AM a couple of times. Anyway, I'm going to let this go. Actually, I just want to, before I start on the Wells Fargo ATM, I did want to explain what's going on with Wells Fargo. So that's the one where I got the email telling me that I was that I had gone below my balance, that I've asked to be notified when I go below that balance, and then it showed a negative balance. It's about negative $18. And there's no overdraft fee yet, and I looked at my online banking, and it just shows a funds request. It doesn't show a payment has been made yet. So I'm thinking as long as I get it before midnight, $20 deposited, that fee, that payment that's being requested is it's a credit card payment that's on an auto debit, auto payment. I really thought when I pulled my money out to pay for my storage that I had that I had checked my online banking and determined that every payment that goes through at the end of the month, beginning of the month, had cycled. Everything was going to come out, within the next week. But apparently I missed one. Whoops. It sucks being this close to the edge. It really does. Yeah, gosh, maybe I should have just told that guy thank you when he gave me the $2 and walked on. That's probably what I should have done. I'm broke enough. $2 does move the needle. Fuck. Yeah, maybe that's what I should have done. But I didn't. I guess I want him to know that not everybody that asks for a favor is a beggar. And generally speaking, I'm not a beggar. On that note, hey, if you could help me out with a contribution to my Venmo, much appreciated. Link in the description. Yeah. So anyway, $18 hasn't gone through yet. I have a $20 bill in my pocket. I also have a $10 bill in my pocket, and I think I'm going to deposit that whole $30 and cross my fingers that I have a $10 and change balance in the morning. So I'm going to wait for that guy to finish and not be all up in his business, because as much as random pedestrians, people walking around, make people in cars at drive-up ATMs nervous, as somebody who uses walk-up pedestrian ATMs, it's a lot more nerve-wracking. And I've certainly seen no shortage of video of people just getting mugged and robbed while they're standing at an ATM. I feel like in a car you got a little more layer of protection. Those people are just acting stupid. But yeah, that guy's pretty vulnerable. Not like I'm going to go rob him or anything, but he's pretty vulnerable. So I need to dig out my card. I'm about to be vulnerable in the same place. Or maybe I could walk up to the drive-up ATM. Yeah, I'll do that. That seems to be the fashion these days.